Lethal kindness coming back at you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is. Time is not real. Come on now, haven't we figured it out yet? Alright. Hello, welcome. Welcome back. We're talking about weed. I'm talking about weed. Let's talk about weed, also known as pot, also known as cannabis. Um, well, the reason why I want to talk about it is because I want to share some of the valuable insights and lessons that I've gained from using it. There have been some. And anyway, the thing that I would say about weed is wait until you're 27 to start using it. If you've used it before then, I'm sorry. I used it before then. I started using it when I was in my 20. Later than some of my friends. I have some friends that certainly started it in their early teens, which is apparently not ideal. But anyway, can't change the past. You can only live in the present, my friends. And let me tell you about some of the things that I learned from weed. First, how to roll on the floor. Say what now? Yes, because I don't know if you have this experience using cannabis, but sometimes it just sends my body into I have to stretch like this mode, or maybe like a nervous cleaning, self-regulation, nervous system self-cleaning like mode. Where basically I'm like, oh, I need to stretch this way, I need to stretch this way. And I found it very beneficial and healing to my body. In another video, I talk about certain injuries that I may have sustained in my life, and I think that the I don't know, like the autonomic guidance of the yoga sessions that would just kind of spontaneously emerge from using cannabis, for me, in my experience, would kind of allow me to stretch in ways that would address the matter and kind of preserve a nice golden thread of a spinal continuity in my postural awareness. Sorry, I have to rub my cat. He's rolling around really cute. Yeah, you're adorable. You just take that nice nap, though. Take that nice nap. So, in fact, tying it into those experiences, I think, for one thing, if you've seen the other video, which I'll try and make pop on a screen somehow, I see other people do it all the time. The time I fell out of that tree, I think I trained myself to land on all four, or five if you include my face, all four limbs by literally stretching in weird ways, rolling around on the floor. Who knows? Maybe weed helped save my life that day. It's no, it certainly didn't. It might have contributed to the lack of judgment that got me in that situation. So I don't know. It comes out a wash, maybe. It's just a wash. But anyway, that's one experience, which has been like a repeated experience, and it's something that I still intend to use it for myself on a regular when I feel like I need to open up and get some energy moving in my body. It can be an aid to that. I'm not saying that it's the only thing, the only way, the only key, because, times when I can't necessarily afford the cannabis to be a companion in my life, then no, it's just meditation and stretching, and that works pretty well too. But anyway, second insight, very, very powerful insight. Like I said, being a regular user, I would sometimes experiment with different modes of taking it. For instance, eating the edible form of lipid extractions, like say butter, or coconut oil, or olive oil, or whatever, what have you. I found that using that would kind of give me a certain kind of body awareness that would be very pleasant and allow me to go throughout my day and like manage pain in a nice way. It was really good. And then this one time, when I was also taking guitar lessons with a gentleman named Peter Prisco, rest in power, Peter Prisco. Shout out. I gotta get my cat again. Yeah. I remember maybe messing up on the dosage before going to one of his lessons, where I was anticipating just like a subtle, mild, affect or effect. I don't know which one would I use in that context. But as I was driving to his house, I realized that I was getting way too stoned. And I was like, I am way more stoned than I thought I was going to be, and this is unfortunate. And so I showed up. We had our lesson. We played some songs together. I completely deleted 8 bars of a song. And the next week I apologized to him. And when I apologized to him, he said that he couldn't tell. Which is pretty funny. But that's not the lesson. The lesson was, while I was sitting there in that lesson trying to conceal how high I was and get away with it, I also realized that I was trying to perform so that I fulfilled the requirements to fulfill that. I was trying to be an identity. I had constructed an identity of like, oh, this person is gonna be like really awesome if he gets really good at being a jazz guitar player and like does all this like great like things, and you're just like thinking about, oh, music, the beauty of music. And well, I mean, music is beautiful. I'm not saying it isn't, but the realization was that if I'm not playing for my personal satisfaction of enjoyment or meaning in that moment, I'm doing meaningless things and it doesn't mean anything. And it's like that external projection of the guitar player that is seen and receives accolades and is like, wow, this guy's like the shit. Yeah, this guy's the shit. Oh my goodness. Like a celebrated hero of the art form is someone that I thought that I needed to be in order to be like happy as a human being. When really, it's probably more like the other way around. And I just had it wrong. But that was a moment when it had dawned very clearly, it very clearly come to me that I was pursuing something that was ultimately doomed to fail. And that really what I ought to be paying a lot of attention to, I said intention, a lot of attention to while I'm playing is my own intention and how I'm feeling and how what I'm doing is affecting me, and does it feel like it's grabbing my attention, and it becomes more like an internal dialogue. And that happened that day when I got way too high than I didn't want to. Oh yeah, then number three. Number three happened prior to this one. I was in my 20s, and this involved making brownies that were way too strong. Way too strong. And then also having a time with my girlfriend at the time when we were both gonna partake in brownies as well as other things that boyfriends and girlfriends do. And during the course of all the activities, it was a perfect storm for both of our consciousnesses to get pulled out of our bodies and merge into like the one consciousness seeing itself. Wait a minute. Yeah, was it a divine mystical experience of like Kundalini awakening? Likely. It just kind of happened. And oh boy, coming back down, I was not ready. I was not ready for that experience. But one huge takeaway, coming back down and reinserting my apparently infinite consciousness awareness and all that jazz, stuffing it back into this confinement of temporal locality. I was given a nugget of information that I think later on I started fitting into a better framework. And that nugget of information is you. I'll say it as it was said to me because I'm saying it to you. You are God and the devil. Both. That's just one piece of the puzzle right there. I don't want to get too far into that because I'm really, I'm just talking about some experiences with weed. And then after that, coming back out of it, I didn't know how to handle it, and I felt like, the whole world was trying to kill me. And, it's not really unfounded if you take a look at just our economy and the way that it literally tries to kill people through either starvation, either like acutely in Palestine and Gaza right now, or whether it's slowly and through the use of like, hey, get a job over here in Newark, and or say like in California, where I hear the statistic is like 60% of people that are unhoused have employment. Anyway, narratives, so many narratives out there, and I'm just trying to contribute to this one. And so far, I have 3 different weed experiences. The last one was kind of like coming out of like a full-on like Kundalini awakening, where I actually merged consciousness with another individual. We both came out of it. I didn't do too well. I wasn't ready for it. Called the authorities. They got involved. Not always the best idea, but you know what? I came out of it okay, unscathed. And yeah, there are some other things that happened through that whole weekend that was really wild, really wild. But I can go into it some more on some other video. I'd like to talk about my 4th experience, which is actually not cannabis, but it's a substance nonetheless, if you can call it a substance. You can call this a substance, you can call this a substance, but maybe what I'm saying is of substance. But the 4th one, honorable mention, not cannabis, but a very fun guy nonetheless. Fun guy. Yeah, I'm talking about psilocybe, the mighty magic mushrooms. Yeah, those guys. This was actually my first hero's dose. So I did, I think, probably like 5 to 6 grams. Part of it was mixed with a chocolate and a chocolate bar. The other was, dry or whatever. For whatever that's worth, doesn't really matter. But this was actually the same weekend as Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. This was September 29th. I had chosen this date because this was the date of St. Michaelmas, the Feast of the Angels in the Catholic Church tradition. I have not been raised with any religion whatsoever. So this actually came to me by way of a Rupert Sheldrake video where he was talking about the history of the holiday and that would be the day when you would feast with the angels. And so what I did was I pretty much fasted the whole day. I didn't eat much food, very light, maybe just something a little bit in the morning, and then overnight I got to work. And I feasted with some angels. I feasted with them. And I gotta say, all of those cool Alex Gray visuals, if you've ever seen the Alex Gray visuals, they are indeed encounterable. They are. And that was really interesting, and I just kind of surrendered to the process and let myself see what I was going to see. And I got to see those things. And another cool thing were all the sounds, all the various sounds that I was able to hear. Hearing lots of really cool sounds and noises. Very, very intriguing beeps and hums and vibrations and buzzes and phew. But then I would say the culmination of the whole trip was when I was looking down at my body, and instead of my body I saw what was in the shape of my body, but just a vessel full of stars. And as I breathed in, they all got brighter and they grew, and it was like a flowering star body. A body made out of flowering stars. I got to see a flowering star body as my body. Yeah, very inspiring. So anyway, that's why that fourth fun guy experience gets included in this video, because yeah, why not? It's not cannabis, but yeah. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that it helps you frame reality or something like that. All right, bye bye. Talk soon.